update on House Bill 261424. That is the Rideshare Transportation Bill that has changed names. But anyway, so it did end up passing. It's now heading over to the governor's office and see if he's going to sign this one. But I'm giving it a last-ditch effort. I just got done typing out this email, and I thought I'd share with all of you and Governor Polis in case you would rather listen to this instead of read it. Hopefully I'll get a response from you or somebody within your office, because I think we've got some great points here. I didn't dig all the way into the weeds on this, but let's just jump into this. So Governor Polis, as a rideshare driver with over 11,000 rides in Colorado and an expert in safety matters that are transferable to rideshare, and a podcasting host that focuses on rideshare safety matters, I encourage you to veto the bill for the following reasons. Number one, the bill creates a large-scale TNC group with over 20,000, that's defined as over 20,000 rides per month, and a new small-scale TNC group that is less than 20,000 rides per month. Well, the problem with this is the PUC already defines TNCs by 3 different tiers. I don't know why they're all of a sudden taking this into 2 different tier levels. So anyway, it's also measured by several other factors that are not rides. It was a last minute change that was done, that was originally defining a requirement that was 1,500 drivers. Okay, so that one made a little more sense because that was part of the calculations that the TNC uses for their existing tier calculation. And in the email, I did include a link to the tier calculation form, so you can look that up. You don't even have to go Google it yourself or ask one of your aides to do it. You can just click on that link there for you. Anyway, so furthermore on this point, so this bill is truly, if this bill is truly about improving rideshare safety, then why do some TNCs like Hop Skip Ride and Drivers Co-op Colorado, why are they exempt? And what I wrote in here is this exemption allows for a lesser standard, and it provides a place for deactivated drivers to continue to flock to. There's a reason I capitalized continue. So I personally know there are drivers at the co-op that are not eligible to drive for Uber and or Lyft because they've been permanently deactivated on those platforms. Because the onboarding standard at Drivers Co-op Colorado is lesser than with Uber and Lyft. So now we're just putting it in writing that it's okay to have a lesser standard than the other people. And all that does is create an environment that condones compromising safety by having a lesser threshold for certain companies. Ironically, they also kept mentioning Hop Skip Ride, but they go through a much more stringent background check anyway, which every rideshare company should be doing, in my opinion, but I digress. So back to the email here. So point number 2, the bill has lowered the threshold for unaccompanied minors in a rideshare to literally 1 day old, as long as they're on an authorized family account. So the language in the bill reads as follows: prohibit the transportation of an unaccompanied youth who's under 15 years old. Sounds okay, right? Nope. Unless the youth is part of a duly authorized family account. Doesn't say what age limit there is to that. So literally this baby could be 1 day old, and as long as they have a duly authorized account, then I guess it's going to be the rideshare driver's job to buckle them in and make sure they're put in that car seat safely and take them to wherever it is that they're taking them to. So anyway, I don't need to tell you how ridiculous this is. That speaks for itself. And I wrote that in the email too, for those of you watching this. So yes, of course, you're always going to get my personality in these letters, even the professional ones. Number 3, the bill says that a TNC shall ensure the driver or rider may opt in to audio and video recording of each prearranged ride. But then later it states the ability for drivers to opt in to audio and video recording for each prearranged ride and the cadence for automatically opting in drivers. Now, what that's referencing is that they've turned over the PUC to say, well, you deal with all the details. We're just putting this crappy little bill together. So the cadence for automatically so the timing, I don't know why you have to use big words in this because most people can't understand that. So the cadence means the timing for automatically opting in drivers. So Steve, Rideshare Rodeo, I know you said what's going to happen when they automatically opt them in. Well, the language is in here that they have to set up a time frame to automatically opt in drivers. How is that I may opt in? So there's contradictory language in this bill on itself. So how can this become law whenever there's contradictory language in it? So anyway, why nobody caught this? We got all these smart people that we've elected. We have all these people we've elected, and not one of them pointed out some of this confusing language that I'm pointing out with all this. So was this really done hastily just to pacify somebody's emotions? I think it was. But anyway, continuing on. Anyway, it says a driver may opt in. Don't force me to opt in. Don't push the opting in because then I don't have the may. Then it's just that I have to opt in. So anyway, I can continue on with several other points that include that there were not any material measures implemented to improve driver safety. Not much that I saw, other than overburdensome procedure for TNCs, such as background checks for every 6 months. Again, nothing to help the drivers. And having to respond to warrants in 72 hours. Both of those are just overburdensome to any TNC, but doesn't matter for Drivers Co-op Colorado because they're exempt. So you don't have to respond within 72 hours on a warrant when one of your deactivated drivers does something bad again. Now, not all deactivated drivers, as a side note that I didn't have in here, not all deactivated drivers are deactivated because they actually did something wrong. The false reporting matters are just out of control, and I personally know one that's going through it right now trying to appeal all of it, and I believe he is going to become victorious. But under this new law, he would become ineligible to work for any of the rideshare companies because of a false accusation that got him deactivated off of one. And it really wasn't even a false accusation. It was a administrative issue, we'll call it, just from a background check. And it wasn't the background per se. But anyway, yeah, guys, this is it. We're making a last-ditch effort. Any of you in Colorado that want to send in your 2 cents on this, you can send an email to Governor Polis at state.co.us. It's Governor Polis at state.co.us. And last words on this was last sentence I put in there. Thank you for your time, and please veto this legislation that does more harm than good for rideshare safety. And I think that pretty well sums it up. Guys, thanks for listening to this video. If you have any comments, please throw your comments down on the bottom. And if you're in Colorado, please send him an email asking him to veto this legislation, because it's just not where it needs to be. I do believe we have rideshare legislation that for safety for both riders and drivers that need to take place, but this bill isn't doing anything.